haven't been able to find on your website, but it may exist. Where does your party support in any way a sovereign wealth fund?
We do talk a bit about that, and on social media probably more than others. But in terms of tax policy, we do support. Remember the big resources tax that Kevin Rudd got thrown out on, and then Julia Gillard sort of back down to the miners. We support those sorts of taxes, and because of the fact that they are. You mentioned finite resources before, but they're finite and non-renewable resources. Right. Once they're gone, they're gone. Like water is a finite resource, but it's renewable to an extent, whereas non-renewable resources and those sort of taxes should be going into, sovereign wealth funds that do invest in more sustainable jobs and broadly the environmental and economic sustainability that we need. So the short answer is yes, but these are the sort of ways that we can pay for it by properly taxing multinational companies that are just selling off, our non-renewable resources at bargain basement rates.
I happen to believe that part of the reason we've gotten here, and part of the reason we don't have a sovereign wealth fund is largely because the kind of candidates that we've elected haven't had the inspired innovation to do things differently and to think, okay, if we accept that we have a significant on our asset sheet, a significant amount of resources in iron ore, how can we what mechanisms could we introduce to best keep some of that asset still within this country? So if we have to accept that the reason we're selling it to China is, there isn't enough internal consumption for that to make sense, or whatever economic justifications there are, and there are some, that having a greater tax for that is therefore going to keep the wealth and allow us to reinvest in other industries and sectors, so that that the wealth isn't just sold. It's not one transaction. It is able to continually creating wealth and jobs within the country. And I think if we look at places like Norway, it makes a ton of sense that we should have that approach. But I think for all the reasons that you've discussed or we've discussed in this call already, part of the problem is the vested interests and their influence in politics, and the fact that we haven't been able to elect politicians with enough vision and ability to think ahead of the problems that suits the miners, that suits the, it basically is that well-rounded solution, and it's just been lazy. People have just gone to the easiest solution because they've been able to get away with it.